Greetings, YouTube. This is Self Mastery 101. And today I'm going to pass out a lesson that I got from the Lord Jehovah Rapha, the Most High, Adonai, Allah, Dios, Wariguru. I have a great message. So the Lord showed me, like, basically through my experience with me being on this journey, as you all know, how I lost everything and now everything has been divinely guided. So it's like my money, when it comes, it's more so of a spiritual thing, and it's with me getting these actual lessons. So what these people in this matrix have done to make things evil against me, the Lord turned it into my favor, where I get all of these answers and can actually decode from both worlds so that we all can understand what's happening. So right now, here's the message, everyone. It's not good out there for what this world's becoming. The United States is under heavy judgment because they have been running things like with this matrix and enforcing the matrix on people in different nations who they never wanted to be bothered with this form of life. So what this matrix has done with what man has done with this illusion, the world is falling apart. There is already an ecosystem that the Lord actually established during the beginning of the time when this world was created, and then with the humans where it's created. But all of the animals all the creatures in God's creations, there is a system that's naturally, it's a system of interaction in the spirit community, which means on this earth, in this earth's community, in this realm, there's already a system that's in place. And this is where there are no Hunger Games. There's no such thing as Hunger Games. Humans are creating this, but they are destroying the world, which is why the United States is under heavy judgment, because their influence around the world is affecting everything. So I'll give you an example. I was outside at the park when the Lord gave me this revelation about our ecosystem. There was a man. He came out and he said, "Oh, I normally come out here at nighttime to feed the cats." He wanted to feed stray cats. And I said, that's interesting. And he said, but, and I also put a bowl of water out for them. Sometimes that's tampered with. People mess with it. And then he said, and I'm going to go to all the parks, go through and make my rounds so I can feed these stray cats. I said, wow, that's really nice. And I knew his was spiritually driven, but he couldn't put his name on it, because where he kept saying, well, something told me to always just feed the cats. That's how he took the message. However, when I woke up, there were no cats that were eating the food that he left out. It was actually birds. So there was a first set of birds. It was black crows. They swooped down. They all ate, and there was a surplus of food. None of those birds were fighting over food, because it was there, it was available. They moved out the way when they were finished eating. Then there was a group of grayish white pigeons or doves, where they flew down and they got their food, and then they got up and left. And then there were some stragglers who may have wanted a couple extra pieces. But then they had it where in the system, from what I saw with this interaction of the birds, the gray ones flew down first. They ate. The black ones went down and said, do I really want to eat? Maybe they had like two little bites of something. Then the gray ones came and ate, and everybody, all those birds interacted with each other on a peaceful, normal level, because that's the way the ecosystem is. And I kept asking the Lord, if you feed the birds and the bees, why are we as humans so dependent on just being reliable on ourselves? And that's why right now it's the good versus evil, but it's these humans who want to control and they want to play God. They're the ones fighting for the system to stay up. The system was built on a house of cards. It's not realistic for the system to keep going on this way where it's like 1% or like one person gets something out of this matrix. The majority of the people don't get anything out of it. That's not what God created. He has everything equal, and everybody knows every species knows their lane. And there's more than enough. I've been to holy places where they said, well, we don't have much food, but all of a sudden the food became plenty, depending on how many people were there and how many sharings did people want of the food. But it was more than enough. There is no competition. Why would anybody feel the need to compete with somebody for something that's already theirs to begin with? That makes absolutely no sense. And so that's why there's all this destruction right now, because the humans, especially Americans, with this attitude of, well, we have to take over and we have to be dominant and we have to be superpowers, that has nothing to do with that. People as a whole have to follow the laws of nature. There is no way around it. Humans are not above it. We're all a part of it. And so with Matthew 6:26, I'm going to read the biblical verse, and it talks about how he feeds these creatures, and they're not putting in like what humans say that we should all do to deserve to get a piece of our divine inheritance, which is the earth. So it says, Matthew 6:26, behold, the fowls of the air, for they sow not, neither do they reap, nor gather into barns, yet your heavenly Father feedeth them. Are ye not much better than they? So they're saying, so basically what this verse is saying, what humans are saying that we need to do in terms of putting in this work, these creatures are not going out building houses. They're not doing 9-to-5 day labor, but they're still getting fed, and they still have their own versions of home, which humans also want to break that down by capturing them and making these creatures into pets. And that's not how we were formed. We were all born with free will. And humans somehow began to tamper and taint with free will. And right now, judgment has been handed, and the Lord's not playing. And anybody who's getting a message, it's just duty. You don't always have to give it out, but I know this is what my calling is, and I have to get out whatever message the Lord is sending me. It's time to right now band together and to see what you have in common versus what you don't have in common. How are you making yourselves enemies when humanity is humanity? We all have our feelings hurt. We all want to feel valued. When one of us don't feel valued, then we all get offended. So why should we do that to each other and do the superiority thing when it's all about humanity and the laws of nature? If we follow the laws of nature, there is no fending and trying to make somebody look bad or stealing anything, because we all know what we're entitled to. And they're not going to silence me, and I know that's why they want to silence me, because of the visions that I have and what I can actually see globally. It's not just for local world, this is global. So it's time for us to start focusing on ourselves, finding out what we appreciate about ourselves, and as we look at people, look at how we have something in common with each other instead of dividing each other, because right now is not a good time because the Lord's not playing. The things that the human beings have done, especially in this country, all the atrocities that the United States, with science and technology, what they have done and with their need to control, it's affecting everything globally, realms that we don't even see. This is what that's why the Lord stepped in, and you're going to see a lot more destruction. And if you look at my past videos, you will see how I talked about destruction, and then now all of a sudden it's happening all over the place. Like the fires in California. Everything's where it's no reason for it. The hurricanes and the tornadoes that destroyed like the East Coast. So I'm going to send you out love, and if I get any more messages, no one stops me. You will see me on here, my friends. And I thank you for all your support. Much love, and be safe. Be blessed.